too nice can ruin your life. The moment people sense that you hesitate to say no or struggle to set boundaries, they start testing you. They push, they take, they manipulate. And by the time you realize what's happening, you've lost space, time, energy, and most importantly, respect. It's harsh, but it's real. The world doesn't reward kindness without strength. It rewards strategy, awareness, emotional control, the ability to move with quiet force. This video isn't about turning you into a villain. It's about making sure you stop playing the victim. It's about building a mind that doesn't crumble under pressure or fade while trying to please everyone. A mind that moves with intention, like a chess player surrounded by emotional pawns. We're drawing from the brutal clarity of Machiavelli, fused with the sharp insights of modern psychology. Together, they form what I call the untouchable mindset, a mindset built for today's world, fast, competitive, and full of hidden agendas. If any part of you feels uncomfortable with this message, good. That means you're waking up from the fantasy and stepping into reality. Like the video now and stay until the end. Each lesson is a weapon. Apply what you learn here and you won't just survive the world, you'll bend it. Lesson 1. Understand human nature without illusions. Niccolo Machiavelli once wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, deceptive, cowardly in danger, and greedy for gain." He didn't say that because he hated people. He said it because he saw a truth most never dare to face. If you misread human nature, you lose. You can be kind, generous, and loyal, and still be ignored, used, or betrayed. Because the world doesn't operate on your moral code. It runs on self-interest, perception, and power dynamics. Modern psychology confirms this. Biases like the halo effect, self-justification, and emotional projection quietly shape human behavior. Someone might swear they're being honest, while unconsciously twisting the truth to protect their ego. Others may betray you without guilt, because their mind rationalizes it as necessary. The untouchable mindset begins right here. Stop expecting people to act like you would. Study their patterns, watch what they do, not just what they say. Stop assuming loyalty where there's only convenience. That shift alone will save you years of confusion. This doesn't mean becoming cold or paranoid. It means becoming aware. Awareness creates distance, and distance creates power. You'll start seeing behind the smiles, behind the flattery, behind the fake apologies. You'll know when someone's helping you out of genuine respect and when they're doing it to keep you dependent. You'll spot emotional manipulation before it wraps around your mind. Machiavelli's point wasn't that all people are bad, it's that all people can act selfishly, especially when the stakes are high. The wise don't take that personally. They use it as strategic intelligence. The first law of the untouchable mindset is brutal, but freeing. Stop expecting fairness in a game that rewards leverage. Accept that self-interest drives behavior. Use that awareness to protect your peace, your time, and your decisions. Lesson 2. It's safer to be feared than loved. When necessary. This is one of Machiavelli's most controversial and most misunderstood ideas. He never said cruelty is better than kindness. What he said was this: if you're forced to choose between being loved or feared, choose fear. Why? Because fear creates boundaries. Love creates expectations. In the real world, love is fragile. It depends on how someone feels about you, something completely out of your control. Fear, when used correctly, is rooted in respect. And respect is far more stable than affection. Psychology confirms this. Studies on leadership, authority, and group behavior all point to the same truth. People follow those who project strength and clarity, not those who chase approval. In fact, trying too hard to be liked is often a signal of insecurity. It invites people to test your limits, push your buttons, and slowly stop taking you seriously. Being feared doesn't mean being aggressive, violent, or unkind. It means being unshakable. It means becoming someone who others instinctively know they can't manipulate. You are feared in the best way when you have standards, when you follow through, when you don't over-explain your boundaries or seek permission to enforce them. That kind of presence speaks louder than any speech. Think about the leaders, mentors, or figures you respect the most. They're not always warm, they're not always nice, but they are solid. You know where they stand. You know they won't bend under pressure, and that's why you respect them. When you're too focused on being loved, you become easy to please, and even easier to control. But when people know there's a line they can't cross, everything changes. They adjust, they listen more closely, they choose their words more carefully, they take you seriously. Machiavelli's message wasn't about spreading fear, it was about creating psychological safety for yourself. When people know what you won't tolerate, you stop attracting disrespect. You stop getting pulled into emotional games. Being feared in this sense simply means this: you respect yourself loudly enough that others have no choice but to do the same. Lesson 3. Power is not granted, it's taken. Machiavelli believed power is never truly given. It's taken through action, decisiveness, and presence. Waiting for permission is how people stay invisible. Taking initiative is how people become influential. Most people wait for approval, for the perfect timing, for someone to notice them. But the world doesn't work that way. No one is coming to crown you. No one is going to hand you a platform. If you want influence, you have to claim it. Psychologists call this an internal locus of control, the belief that you are responsible for your outcomes. People with this mindset don't sit around waiting to be discovered. They act, even when the stage hasn't been set. They believe their power is self-created. That's where the untouchable mindset begins. You stop playing the passive role. You stop searching for signs. You stop needing permission to act. Instead, you build the habit of moving first, of speaking with clarity, of showing up even when no one asked you to. Power doesn't arrive. It's built. It's earned. Through momentum, through consistency, through unapologetically showing up again and again, until people realize you're not going anywhere. Taking power isn't about crushing others. It's about no longer shrinking yourself. It's choosing presence over passivity, intention over hesitation. People who lead with conviction don't need a title. Their energy does the talking. They walk into a room like they belong, not arrogantly, but unshakably. And that presence alone creates influence. Machiavelli saw power as unstable, always shifting. If you don't claim it, someone else will. And the longer you wait, the easier it is for others to define your role and your worth for you. There's nothing noble about waiting to be picked. The world respects movement, presence, ownership. And that begins with a simple but powerful choice. Stop asking to be seen. Start acting like you're already visible. Respect yourself enough to stop explaining your value, show it, and if you found value in this message, subscribe to the channel. Here, we always bring content that sharpens your edge and expands your mind. Lesson number 4. Keep your true goals a secret. Machiavelli understood a timeless truth. The more people know about your plans, the easier it is for them to stop you or steal from you. When you talk too much, you hand people the blueprint to your ambition. In today's culture of constant sharing, we've been conditioned to announce everything. New projects, future goals, big visions. But every time you expose your direction too early, two dangerous things happen. First, you get a fake sense of accomplishment. A dopamine hit just for talking that tricks your brain into believing you've already made progress. Second, you open the door to judgment, envy, and resistance. Psychologists call this substitution satisfaction. Talking replaces doing. And public goals attract private attacks. The untouchable mindset doesn't crave applause. It values precision. It moves in silence, builds in silence, and speaks through results. You don't need people to cheer for your potential. You need to protect your momentum. There's power in being unreadable. When no one can predict your next move, they can't prepare a counterattack. You're not playing defense because you're invisible until the checkmate is already on the board. This isn't about isolation, it's about discernment. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your transformation. Share with those who've earned the right to witness your evolution. Not just those who are curious. Machiavelli believed appearances matter, but timing matters more. Reveal your moves only when they're undeniable. when the work is done, when the results speak so loudly, you don't have to. Until then, let people underestimate you. Let them assume you're stagnant. And when you reappear, do it with force, clarity, and proof. Guard your vision. Speak less. Build more, because the world respects results, not promises. Lesson number 5. Adapt like nature. Machiavelli believed in two forces that shape everything: virtù and fortuna. Virtù is your inner strength, your skill, strategy, and self-control. Fortuna is chaos, life storms, randomness, and everything you can't predict or control. His advice? Don't waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, adapt. Nature doesn't resist change, it evolves. A river doesn't argue with a rock, it flows around it. Trees that bend in the storm survive. The rigid ones, they break. Psychology echoes this with the concepts of resilience and anti-fragility. Resilience is the ability to recover after stress. Anti-fragility goes deeper. It means you grow stronger because of the stress. Every challenge becomes fuel. Every setback becomes data. Every hit becomes a signal to evolve. That's how people with the untouchable mindset operate. They don't deny reality, they respond to it. They shift, fast, they observe, adjust, act. They waste zero energy pretending things aren't changing. They use change to become sharper, leaner, more focused. Adaptation is not passivity, it's power in motion. It means you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. You let go of what's dead. You pivot without shame. You move because movement is how you stay alive. Machiavelli admired leaders who could feel the wind shift and move with them, who could read a room, sense timing, and act accordingly. Stubbornness looks like strength until it becomes your downfall. The most dangerous person in any room is the one who can't be thrown off course, not because they resist change, but because they expect it and use it to their advantage. Adaptation is a muscle. You build it through small shifts, uncomfortable decisions, and humility. You grow it by failing forward. You master it by letting go of control and replacing it with strategic response. The untouchable mindset flows like water and lands like stone. It bends, but it doesn't break. It's flexible in tactics, but unshakable in vision. Lesson number 6. Control perception, not just facts. Machiavelli understood something most people ignore. It's not enough to be competent. You have to be seen as competent. In a world ruled by appearances, perception shapes power. The way people perceive you determines how they treat you, how they talk to you, and whether they take you seriously. You could be intelligent, capable, and full of integrity. But if your presence doesn't communicate that, it doesn't matter. The world responds to what it sees, not what you feel. Psychologists call this the halo effect. When one strong trait, like composure or confidence, bleeds into how people view everything else about you. If you seem powerful, people assume you're trustworthy. If you look unsure, they assume you're weak, even if you're not. That's why perception isn't decoration, it's armor. It protects your value in rooms where people are silently measuring you. The untouchable mindset doesn't wait to be understood. It shapes understanding. It chooses posture over apology, stillness over explaining. When you look like someone with clarity and control, people assume you are. It's not about being fake, it's about being deliberate. Your tone, your silence, your timing, your eye contact, each is a brushstroke on the canvas of your identity. Together they send a message louder than words. People aren't logical observers, they're emotional processors. They don't respond to truth, they respond to energy. You're either projecting strength or leaving a vacuum for someone else to fill. Machiavelli advised rulers to appear virtuous. Not because truth doesn't matter, but because image defines truth in the eyes of the crowd. So ask yourself, what do people see in me before I speak? What story does my presence tell? If you're not crafting that story, you're letting someone else write it for you. Your perception is your brand. Whether you manage it or not, craft it, shape it, defend it. Lesson number 7. Be ruthless with what weakens you. Machiavelli wasn't afraid of hard decisions. He believed protecting your strength meant removing what threatens it. Quickly, decisively, without emotional hesitation. Most people do the opposite. They hold on to what's familiar, even when it's draining them. They stay in toxic relationships. They cling to old identities. They keep habits that steal their time, energy, and focus. Why? Because cutting things off feels like loss. Because growth feels like grief at first. Psychologists call this functional self-deception. The quiet lies we tell ourselves to justify staying small. It's not that bad. Maybe it'll change. I've already invested too much. But those aren't truths. They're comfort traps disguised as logic. Here's the real truth. If something weakens you, it doesn't belong in your future. The untouchable mindset isn't built on comfort. It's built on clarity. You recognize what's costing you your edge, and you cut. No explanations, no guilt, no second guessing. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you clean. You're not removing people, habits, or roles because you're angry. You're removing them because they no longer match the version of you you're becoming. Think of power like armor. And every time you carry weight that isn't yours, old friendships, dead commitments, outdated behaviors, you crack that armor, you move slower, you think less clearly, you second-guess yourself. That's how people lose control of their lives. Not through some massive failure, but through 1,000 tiny tolerations. You don't need to burn bridges, but you do need to close doors, firmly. Half-open doors leak energy. They create noise. They keep you tethered to who you used to be. Every bold move requires a clean break. And every clean break creates space for the stronger version of you to emerge. Because what you tolerate becomes your standard. And your standard becomes your identity. So here's the final law of the untouchable mindset. You are defined by what you no longer accept. Be ruthless with anything that keeps you average. Be merciless with what drains your fire. Be precise in your cuts. And powerful in your silence. Like this video. Share it with someone who's ready to stop tolerating weakness and start living with strategy. The world doesn't slow down for anyone, and neither should you.